Right. Can you all see this? Yes, okay. I'll just leave it because I don't want to have that issue last time. All right. Okay. Drowning is one of the leading causes of childhood deaths in the US. However, this public health matter with the right tools can be prevented. Today, I'm going to speak with you about the importance of swim education for youth and adolescents. However, not only does this information apply to minors, adults too can benefit from learning to swim. In the United States, drowning is the number one leading cause of death in children aged 1 to 4. The CDC reports that more children aged 1 to 4 die from drowning than any other cause, and that each year, 4,000 adults fatally drown. With the CDC's report of an average 11 drowning deaths per day, there is assumed risk for any person's nearby water. If you do not already agree that knowing how to swim can save a life, it is my hope that by the end of this presentation, you will see that how vital this information really is. As a child, I almost drowned in my neighbor's swimming pool. Thankfully, I had neighbors and guardians nearby to rescue me from the water. As a result of this experience, my siblings and I completed 5 consecutive summers of swim lessons. And having gone through that program even as a child, I remain a strong and confident swimmer today. I want you all to take a moment and imagine. Maybe you're babysitting for a neighbor's kids, or even your own, or you're spending time with a family member, but you decide to go to the beach or pool. Once you arrive, you unpack the car, find a spot, and lather up on the sunscreen. You get settled, maybe you brought a book, maybe you get distracted by a conversation with somebody nearby, but you take your eyes off your kids for just a second. Moments later, you're pulled back to the water and the children as you hear a whistle blown with the lifeguard jumping down to save a child. This event is scary and not fun to imagine, but it happens more often than you'd think. Also, it's 100% preventable. Today, I will outline the public health issue of drowning through statistical analysis, followed by discussing solutions to this problem through programs already available, while discussing potential barriers of access, and finally concluding with suggestions on how we can best implement more of these initiatives. While I have touched on the public issue of drowning, let's review some facts. As stated in our introduction, the leading cause of death for kids aged 1 to 4 is drowning. Additionally, drowning is the second leading cause of death via accidental injury for youths aged 5 to 14. Swimming pools and other bodies of water pose threats to unsupervised children and young adolescents prone to risk-taking. It is of vital importance to have supervision when swimming at any age. Due to the accident-prone nature of pools and beaches, it is just too commonplace that one will be injured. There are a few factors that the CDC reports could increase one's risk of drowning. Males make up reportedly 80% of all drowning incidents as a result of increased exposure to water at a younger age, risk-taking behavior, and increased alcohol use. Additionally, racial backgrounds also play a concrete role in risk of drowning. The CDC reports that American Indian and Alaska Natives are 2 times more likely to drown than their white counterparts. And Black Americans are 1.5 more times likely to drown than white counterparts. This can partly be explained by the wealth gap, as non-white individuals are more likely to be unable to outsource their own swim instruction due to the financial burden. To combat this larger public health issue, people must be taught to swim. With the lack of free supervised access to pools year-round, this places the burden on an individual level to seek out swim lessons for themselves and/or their children. So with the history of our problem covered, let's discuss some potential solutions. In the most simple terms, the best way to prevent deaths by drowning is to learn to swim. Swim lessons are often broken into groups by age and performance level, such as a basic, intermediate, and advanced model. Within each level, an individual is required to successfully perform a set number of skills before they can move up to the next level. This teaching model allows for students to practice their skills under supervision and with water support devices like floaties or a kickboard numerous times before attempting them on their own. Building up confidence one skill at a time ensures safety while in the water. There are also additional means of water safety outside of swimming that can be important to be aware of when around large bodies of water. According to the City of Durham website, the American Red Cross Swimming and Water Safety Program is offered through the Durham Parks and Recreation programs. Through a multi-stage model similar to our swim lesson structure we just reviewed, this program aims to assist individuals as they develop familiarity with being in the water and learning basic skills for aquatic safety, survival, and recreational swimming while developing an awareness of how to stay safe in, on, or around the water. Some of these survival skills include learning to tread water, how to float on your back, and what conditions are just not suitable for swimming. To equip the general public with the knowledge on how to swim and how to best prevent swimming accidents, like never swimming alone and bringing sustaining devices for support, etc., will prevent the occurrence of accidental drowning deaths. Here is also a sample swim lesson plan where you can see how the student would have to assess, or they would have to show that they can do that before proceeding to the next level. If you do a quick Google search of public schools with swimming pools, it's really tricky to identify which, if any, in the area have pools. However, what you will find is a few links with resources to private schools and their pools. According to an independent 2023 review, there are 75 private schools statewide, with swimming included in their sports and activities list. While some private schools offer swimming as an outside school elective, it's not offered as an elective for physical education. Additionally, even few public schools that do offer pools on site, they do not include swimming as part of their PE units. Most use pools for athletic use through a school-sponsored swim team to compete athletically in different athletic conferences. If the public school is fortunate enough to have pools on site allowed for lower grade schools to access them during the week for instructive purposes, it would allow for this resource to reach its full potential. We know the solution to accidental drownings is to equip individuals with the skill set to swim. But how can this realistically be implemented in our local communities? And how do we prevent costs from limiting access to this life-saving knowledge? According to the American Red Cross, schedule conflicts and lesson affordability pose the largest barriers to accessing swim lessons in a 2022 survey. All too often, the burden lies on the parent and guardian to teach their child to swim. However, with busy work schedules and a lack of financial resources, it is no surprise why many view learning to swim a privilege. Additionally, the American Red Cross finds that access to lesson availability and registration information proved hard to find or difficult to navigate. If local programs are available, they should be advertised well within the community, and additionally be made readily available online. Increasing access to this instructor information and potential fee waivers, if they exist, will provide transparency for parents and guardians to know where and how to seek out these resources. In North Carolina, Swim for Charlie is a local organization who aims to equip children with life-saving water skills by providing a high-quality water safety program to second grade North Carolina students. This initiative is partnered with local aquatic centers, park districts, and schools to help increase access to lessons without placing financial or transportational burdens on the student or family. And in the 2022 to 2023 school year, Swim for Charlie served 1,000 students in 15 schools across Durham and Orange counties. Although this accounts for only a small percentage of second grade students statewide, initiatives like this are really saving lives. Nationally, similar initiatives could be implemented to maximize access to lessons and water safety. If federal funding could be delegated at a city level, similar to the relationship we see in our tax dollars and the public library, park districts could designate specific days and hours of the week for free access to city residents so they can swim under lifeguard supervision. If the barrier is more instructors and finding costs or money to pay instructors, they can be found through volunteers if we offer it to high school and college swim teams locally in exchange for school or service hour credit during their summer breaks. Eliminating the cost of paying instructors will help to further eliminate financial barriers in learning to swim. It isn't every day that you learn something that will save your life, but in the case of swimming, knowing this skill is the difference between death and survival. It is vital that learning to swim becomes a part of public education systems again. This presentation highlighted the public health issue of drowning and proposed the solution of increased access to free swim instruction. That's not what supposed to do. Through statistical analysis and review of local programs, it is vital to push past barriers and implement programming that can be accessible for all. Death by drowning is 100% preventable if one simply knows to swim. Drowning is a leading cause of death in children and accounts for 4,000 adult deaths each year. The day you learn to swim is the day you learn how to save your life. Any questions? Thank you so much.